what you're doing is historic.
All right.
You don't realize it. You don't realize it.
Apparently, we're making history. Welcome, welcome to the YouTube stream. Um, watching, also welcome. We do this stream nearly every week. I announced that we'll do it again on Friday, but I think we're going to move it to Wednesday next week, so it won't be so far from now. Oh, we can't see the live video. So if you're watching live on YouTube, or if you're watching the recording, there's always a link to join in on Zoom, and I welcome you to come and participate. It'll be fun. Oh, shoot, what's happening? Keep pressing the wrong button. Where'd it go? There it is. There it is. There you go. Now you can join on Zoom. And the other link is the website. Hi, hello. So in this live stream, the Pleiadian Council deliver a message, and after the message, people can ask questions and answers, and all are welcome to do so. The biggest thing is please make sure you're muted when you're not speaking, because if you are unmuted, sometimes the background sound can interfere and cause some issues. When you would like to ask your question, feel free to unmute yourself. Just make sure the person before you is totally finished with their question. And if the Zoom room fills up over 10 or more people, we might form a little queue to help facilitate things. And after everybody in Zoom asks their questions, we can do the YouTube questions or the chat box questions. The only thing is that sometimes if your question might be personal, that's not the best way to ask your question. Or if your question is very specific, it's also not the best way to ask your question, because sometimes the Pleiadian Council might need a bit more information to clarify what you're talking about. So to make sure you get the best out of it, join in Zoom. Donations are optional, but they greatly support the session, and they support me in continuing to offer this and cover the cost of Zoom and all the other internet blah blah blahs. So really appreciate it. It's a great way to support this free offering. Not many channels do sessions like this for the public freely, so thank you for making it possible. And of course, the best way to support is always of mutual benefit. If you want to dive into personal channeling sessions, please check out dantestarshine.com, where you can find all the information there about what I offer. And I'm offering a package now to give you 2 sessions, with the second one about half off. Astrology readings and so many other things are available there. So yeah, I just will put in the chat box really quickly. This is where you can send donations to on PayPal. All right, thanks for being here today, everyone. And we're just gonna flow with it. Hello, and we say a fantastic day to you at this moment of your time. We are the Pleiadian Council, and we thank you for allowing this message to come through, as it is of great benefit to us to be able to experience your reality and the reflections you offer us. Help us deepen into our connection with Source in the same way that you may deepen into your own connection with your higher self and with Source through the information and energy we share with you. Today, we would like to introduce an opening message we call The Treasures of Inner Space Travel. Now, the interesting concept that we come from outer space is very fascinating to some people who tune into channeling, though our interests with this channel are particularly oriented towards helping you discover the treasures of inner space. And inner space has so many different potentials it offers you. By tuning in with yourself, you have the power to open up to the psychic gift of being able to contact your guides and many other capabilities. It is actually in the inner space that you develop the ability to create the reality of your preference. Reality emerges from the way that you fine-tune your own inner space. Inner space meaning your aura, your body, and the way that these energy fields are constantly interacting with the world around you. Within your body, currents of energy are constantly moving. Every day, these currents of energy rise and fall in waves, and your observation of them is crucial to be able to stay in balance. The idea that balance is your own observation of these energy currents and your own participation in the currents, to not resist the flow of them, but to watch and cooperate with the flow of your own inner being, the flow of your own passion. This is bringing you to connect with the world around you, but the more you get finally attuned to the inner space of your own body, you more and more start to recognize that the world outside of you is not really a phenomena on the outside. It's merely a manifestation of your inner being. While you may move around the world, you never actually leave inner space. And we encourage all of you to use as a permission slip as you go throughout the day and move from place to place. Ask yourself, where am I? Where am I? You'll notice that you wake up in your home and you might go out to the store to buy some things, or you might go to your workplace and you might get there in a car or on a train. You might travel to distant lands on a plane, on other forms of vehicles. Though, as you ask this question, where am I? You come to recognize again and again that you never actually leave this inner space of your body. And all of the ups and downs that you experience, you also experience here in this inner space. Your inner space is where the treasure is. Because while you may aim to experience and manifest and create things in your outer world, the joy arises in your inner space. The bliss arises in your inner space. And the more you tend to the details of your inner space, the more magic naturally happens around you. Many of you hear this idea that you are to follow your excitement, bliss, passion, and love. And you come to the conclusion by projecting the ideas that you've already come to about happiness onto this subject. That if you've done it right, you would have manifested fame, fortune, and total enlightenment by this point. But again, that projection prevents you from fully understanding the complete formula. There are still some who don't fully get that first part about following their passion, but more of you get stuck on the letting go of your insistence on outcomes. And this is where attending to your inner space allows you to tap into total freedom. You free yourself from insistence, from attachments, from resistance in your inner space by tending to the sensations that arise in your body and the emotions that arise in your body, and using perhaps your breath, or perhaps the visualization of light flowing through your body, or anything that in that same way brings you into a state of flow, to wash those sensations free from your being and tune back into that state of total openness, total acceptance of what is, total integration of all that has been, using the places where you might not have gotten exactly what you wanted, again, as the valuable lessons. So this is why practices like meditation serve you so much, to find that idea of ease within your body from the start, before you embrace what it is you're passionate about and act on it. Finding that inner space where there is no tension in your being, and so you're not moving into what excites you and motivates you, fearing as if something might go wrong. And this is again why asking, where am I, again and again, serves you very much. Directing your focus into that inner space and noticing, am I already walking in through this doorway, holding on to my idea of what I am supposed to meet on the other side? Am I moving towards this opportunity, this conversation, this connection, with a fixed idea of what's supposed to happen before it happens? The more willing you are to let go of your attachment and your fixation on getting it right always, the easier it is going to flow. The more you clear up this inner space of your body and let these attachments drop from your being, the more effortlessly you will find that you pull towards you that which you seek. Attending to your inner space in this way is creating a total feeling of lightness in your being. Light and lightness go hand in hand. When you tune to the inner light of source within you, you create a lightness. Again, following the formula, doing what you love, connecting with others who are doing the same in their own unique way, causes your vibration to raise. And on an energetic level, you literally become lighter, less heavy, less dense. And this energy becomes something palpable that radiates from you. Yet the places where you still hold on to heaviness become magnets for that heaviness. When you hold on to an idea that you absolutely don't want this one specific thing to happen, or you absolutely require another specific thing to happen, you will find that what you absolutely don't want comes to be, and what you absolutely do want is the forever dangling in front of you, carrot on a stick, never fully reaching it, never fully getting there. So, where do you feel that tension in your inner space? Let yourself explore that idea of tension. Let yourself get comfortable with that idea of tension, knowing that the attention you give to the tension is what allows you to dissolve it. Paradoxically, or rather contradictory to what really works, you often try to resolve this tension by getting something outside of you, forgetting that you never leave the inner space. And that's why we ask you, ask yourself, where am I? Recognize you've never left. You've always been in the same space. It is always here and now, and you could never, ever actually leave it. Now, this inner space becomes very magical, otherworldly, the better you get at dropping this tension. The more comfortable you become simply resting in this inner space and letting go of all concepts that there is something outside of you, the more miraculous things will start to happen inside. This comfort in your inner space allows you to astral travel. It allows you to meet beings in other realms. It allows you to tune in to the more subtle energetic levels of the world around you. And it also allows you to hold other people in the comfort of the inner space that you create. Because again, this inner space that you tune into in your body is simply the most inner layer of your aura. And the energy that you're feeling in this innermost layer extends outside of you as well. When you create the sense of ease and comfort and relaxation in your being, this energy field envelops the space that you inhabit. And you can practice holding others into this inner space and witnessing the way that your surrendered presence changes the people around you without you really having to do much, but actively engage with the currents of energy moving through you. And the more attuned you get to this inner space, you also get the power to pull things into it. Simply focusing on the idea of things that you prefer and attuning to that vibration, feeling perhaps what it feels like to be deeply in love and connected with someone, what it feels like to have all of the abundance that you need, to feel what it feels like to be creatively engaged and supporting others, inspiring others with your creation. Whatever it is you wish, whatever excites you most. You have to get used to that vibration within your inner space and accept it as your own innate deserving desire. Accept it as something that is intrinsically already yours, because again, it has arisen in your inner space. Therefore, it must belong to you in the sense that it must be something you can experience as your own. It does not necessarily define you, but it is yours. It is your creation. That's all that it is. And whenever something negative arises in your inner space, remember this, that it is your creation, but it is not you. You are actually bigger than your own inner space. You are the witnessing presence that can observe the entire inner space and the aura that surrounds it. So all of these creations that emerge from your inner space might belong to you. They might be your creations. They might be energy forms that you can play with. But you can recognize they are not you because they are constantly changing, morphing, and shifting. And the act of observing them is what influences them. You, as the observer, influence your creations. That is the you. The witness, the observer, the true inner self or higher self. Everything else in the inner space might be yours, but it is not you. Learning the difference allows you to more completely and fully surrender and embrace your true power. We hope this supports you, and we hope that you can carry this deep witnessing presence throughout your days and use it to be able to hold the world in your loving presence and attract into your inner space all that you would wish to be there. And now we ask, in which ways can we be of service to you with your questions, comments, and inquiries, beginning whenever you wish. Are you there, or are you too spaced out? We're not sure.
Yeah, we can still hear you. If there's nobody ready yet on Zoom, there is a question on YouTube, which is how can we reduce gray hairs? What are the causes, and are there any herbal supplements or foods that can help? Thank you.
Reduce what?
Gray hair.
Oh, all right. The idea of reducing stress is directly related to this subject. So by allowing yourself to be more relaxed, more open, to take life slower and with less attachment will be massively helpful in this. Other ideas of reducing stress involve exercising regularly, having a healthy diet, breathing more completely, getting enough sunlight, smiling very frequently, bringing lightness truly into your being. And we want to reflect the idea as well that the graying of the hair reflects an idea of wisdom. It is representative to many extents of the opening of the crown chakra, the turning into whiteness, lightness. So You need not resist it. Accept it as beautiful. But again, if you want to delay it, then calm down. Take it easy. We hope that helps.
Yeah, I can help. I can read another question from YouTube. Are there ways to avoid making negative judgments about situations we see? How are judgment and discernment different?
Judgment usually involves an act of condemnation, of separation, of othering. Whereas discernment is simply having the eyes to see something for what it is. You can understand that somebody is expressing a specific sort of negative vibration, but then your own definition about the idea of negative energy will determine whether that is discernment or judgment. If you believe that only that person is capable of expressing such a negative energy, and that negative energy does not exist within you, that is an act of judgment. Of course, maybe you're not vibrating at that negative energy in the moment, but to not be in judgment, you have to recognize that you still have the potential, because you exist, to express the full spectrum of all vibration. At one point, most likely, you experienced a similar vibration. So open yourself to that understanding that that vibration just as much exists within you. Even if it is very far from where you are at now, it still exists within you. To judge or to deny it further separates you from parts of yourself. And that often creates some levels of stress, anxiety, because the very act of disowning the potential to express a particular energy causes you to create tension in your system, causes you to fear certain vibrations. Discernment might say, that person is vibrating a negative energy and I don't want to be around them, and that's just fine. But judgment would take it a step further and say, this person is very bad and perhaps needs to be punished or ostracized or canceled, etc., and so on. Now, that doesn't mean that imposing restrictions is always an act of judgment. When those restrictions prevent others from harming others, that is simply discernment. To put people in restrictive conditions when those people are violent or destructive is not judging. It's simply knowing what is best for the betterment of all. You will know when you are judging because that tension exists in your system. You might feel it in your heart, in your throat, in your face, in your belly. It feels as if there's a wall being created that closes you off. And whenever you're creating this tension in your inner space, you're also blocking yourself off from parts of yourself. And instead, you are empowering parts of yourself that might be angry or vindictive. So let go, accept others for exactly where they're at, even if they are expressing energies that are destructive or harmful in some way. Recognize that as their soul level choice, and know that all souls have the potential at any given moment to choose any level on the spectrum of vibration. Even a saint could choose at any moment. They simply don't make the choice to go to the negative end of the spectrum. But again, the more you judge, the more you open yourself to the potential of somehow slipping back into that negative choice without catching yourself doing it.
I've got two questions about the transmission you gave this evening.
All right.
Could I ask them?
Yes.
The first is, surely babies are born with this sense of inner space and the treasure there. So what is the process where we lose this connection to inner space?
It really begins when emotions are invalidated by those around you, and children who experience immense emotional distress over small details are forced to repress those emotions because those around them do not know how to deal with them. Really, children will snap back into a state of love once they are loved and accepted, regardless of what they're experiencing. But very few children are treated in that way. And instead, they are forced to behave in very controlled ways that deny their playful and curious nature. And that is when the restrictions start to be imposed on one's own inner space. And one accepts those restrictions.
Okay, thank you. The second question about the inner space is that to enter inner space, and truly, I've been guided by you for a while now. I really have this feeling of what you're talking about. But what I notice is it's alone. There is an aloneness.
That's correct.
Which can be also interpreted as a connection with yourselves, as a connection with spirit in some way. But I think there is a fear of aloneness, and I think that fear of aloneness may block people from comfort on the inner space.
That is often the case. Many people fail to dive as completely into the inner space because they seek instead connection, and connection is well and good. True connection allows both people to retain their awareness of their inner space at all times, and in this way you create a shared inner space. As we've spoken with you earlier, it leads to telepathy. It's when you can be so in tune with your inner space that you communicate everything that arises within you. You do so transparently, and you then let other people know exactly where you are at. The more attuned you become to each other, the more you start to have shared experiences, like having the same thought, the same feeling, the same idea at the same time. And so it's actually very connective. But you first, again, have to, as we've said last week, individuate in order to collectivize. You have to come very clearly into your own sense of this individuality within the ocean to be able to fully connect with the idea of the ocean. Because until you know yourself as a drop within the ocean, you get lost within the ocean. Really, you as a soul are individual, but as you connect with that higher self level, you connect with an energy of blissfulness and oneness that unites all. Everybody is the same in the quality of energy of oneness, blissfulness, unity, and unconditional love when they get to that higher self level. It simply expresses through each person's higher mind in a unique way. You express that energy in a very particular way. And again, that is a way for Source to know itself. So again, while it may seem lonely at first going inward towards your own inner space, the more you do, the more clearly you express that energy into the world. And again, it starts to attract other people into it because that connection to the calm, present, joyous inner space always has effect on other people around you.
Right, and perhaps this is why you start with follow your passion and excitement and tune into your individual excitement to feel the joy, because if you started with the message of tuning into inner space, many people would immediately come up against fear instead of going at it with joy.
Yes. Though, again, that joyous energy is very much a part of your connection to the inner space. For it is through knowing what lights your own heart up that you can feel the rest of your being in presence here and now.
Yeah, thanks. Very clear. Great topic today.
Oh, well, thanks to you as well.
I have a question on this topic. In that vein, or in going along the same track, sort of, as a creative myself and a channel, I definitely have gone through those processes of going deep within, tapping into the collective and all of these things. What is your insight or advice for someone like myself who, I don't know what the right terminology would be, if it's like a form of self-sabotage or tamping down my own light. But I have found that even though I know that creating, whether it's writing or like doing the fantasy series that I'm working on, or doing like channeling music, I know that these things bring me the greatest joy and fulfillment. And I also know that when I do those things and share them, that people are just very, like, it resonates for people. People really enjoy it. They ask me, why don't I do it more? And I guess my question is like, what is your insight or advice as to how someone like me can tap into and shine those gifts out more freely, and or like maybe insight into what it is that might be blocking others like myself as well, that have this issue of just like knowing that it brings you joy, knowing that it brings others joy, knowing it is part of your path and journey, but struggling to engage with it. Almost, for me, it's almost like a form of self, like sabotage or even punishment, maybe avoiding these things. I don't know what else to frame it. So I'll
believe that you deserve to be punished.
I don't know. I don't have an answer. I think it's just from my childhood, really, of being like the black sheep. I think I carry that with me.
So, because you learned you did not belong, you still hold on to this idea that this creative energy doesn't serve a purpose. But again, you must remember that even if it touches just one person, that energy was worth it. That energy was valid and important and served a purpose. In fact, even if the only person this energy touches is you, it is perfect, because the purpose is frequency. The purpose is to let that frequency of love, passion, joy be experienced in your inner being, and know that as long as you're experiencing it, that energy is carried out in all that you do. So you've tapped into some levels of these beliefs because you've said you are almost punishing yourself, but why else would you hold it back? What do you believe is more important than putting it out there? Why do you believe it serves you to keep yourself limited?
I do have an answer for that that's come up immediately if you would like to hear it.
Yes.
I think it's fear. It's fear of shining too bright. It's fear of repercussion of doing that. What? Sorry.
What might happen if you do shine?
I'm not sure. I think, well, the first thing that comes to my mind is that like I might be killed. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I think it probably stems from other lifetimes as well. And it's this ingrained fear that I have.
It's only as ingrained as you believe it to be. You can undo it by disproving it, knowing that it's not true. It's not for lifetimes. You've come to this conclusion because you were punished for being autonomous. You were punished for having your own self. And so whenever you come more clearly into self energy, the more you come up against this fear. And this is why you find yourself in the pattern again and again of blending and merging energies with other people, whether it is intertwined friendships or studying under someone rather than listening to your own inner wisdom, or becoming dependent on others. This is what you believe serves you because you believe being self-guided will lead you to danger. So you simply have to unlearn this belief, and you do so by relishing in the joy that others have for the self-led creations that you share. If you can remember all of the ways that your intuitive and creative work has supported other people and brought you into a state of flow, that ought to be enough evidence to show you that it absolutely is safe. But again, of course, this old ingrained belief system will come up again and again, and you have to get more familiar with it, become more clever than it, because it ultimately isn't that much of a clever belief.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yes.
I'll probably revisit this for myself to listen to it again and again until it really sticks.
Though, can you right now see that you are free and that your own creative power is a gift?
Yes. Yes, that I know. It's really stepping into and implementing it that has been the challenge. But I think what you have laid out here makes a lot of sense. And as I said, it's something I'm going to revisit so that I can really have it sink in. Thank you so much.
Do that, but know that it will sink in when you choose for it to be sunk in. You don't actually need to re-listen to it. You just need to recognize you're free now and recognize that you're safe now, and continually bring yourself to be aware in the inner space of where there is that feeling of danger, and use your breath, use your light to clear that feeling of danger from your inner being and find your way back into the flow. Find your way into channeling a little bit or writing a bit or painting a bit every day until you find new life continuously emerges from you. And we trust it will happen for you if you trust in that inner wisdom, because it is abundant.
Thank you. This truly is right on, like just directly in alignment with the messages that have been coming through for me just in life. And so I really appreciate this insight. I even had written down for the last new moon that something I need to do is write or sing a little bit or play an instrument, do some Ableton live every day. And I haven't done it. So you know what? This is more, reaffirmation that yes, this is what I need to be doing so that I can feel safe and empowered doing it. I appreciate these insights. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. You as well, yes.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, yes, welcome.
I would like to ask, what's the influence of the salt or salty meals to the human body?
It depends the source of the salt. Salt is in some ways helpful when it comes from natural sources like sea salt and Himalayan salt. You don't want to overdo it, but it allows for your body to become more mineralized.
And what does it mean to overdo it?
To take too much, more than you need.
How can I find what's too much for me?
Oh, you will know when it's been too much for you. You'll feel it as a burn or as perhaps a sense of inner fire overcooked.
Because
Really,
last couple of years, I continue, please.
a quarter to half a teaspoon of salt a day ought to be all right for most people.
And because I for the last couple of years, I'm really enjoying salty meals. I'm salting everything with the Himalaya salt. And so I'm just wondering if I'm not overdoing it too much.
Why are you concerned that you're overdoing it?
Because I heard that it may influence my eyesight, which is degrading now. For some reason, I'm starting doing more and more eye yoga, as you have suggested to me, but I'm just curious if the consuming salt over the last couple of years may have some effect to it.
It's not necessarily connected, no.
And my second question is that I wonder, because previously I have many questions to you, and lastly I'm out of the questions. So I wonder what's going on if I'm not so interested in you, or I'm just in some other phase.
Well, have you come to follow your passion more?
Yes, I'm still seeking for my passion and going through the various stages of my attitudes and states and so on. And sometimes it is confusing, sometimes it is not so fun, and sometimes it is very much fun. So it's up and down, and most of the time I'm
Follow your
finding
passion
some
and have dropped your insistence. There won't be as many things to question. There won't be so many answers outside to seek, because again, when you do follow the formula and you act on your passion to the best of your ability without insisting on a particular outcome, you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. And when you have cleared enough fear-based belief systems, you start to feel very much comfort in the mystery. You don't necessarily need to solve all the questions that arise. Instead, you feel curious to what you don't know. And perhaps then you can frame questions in a way that are not so self-centered and become more open, more loving. And these are the best kinds of questions because it starts to fondle the mystery rather than prod at it, if you get what we're saying. It brings more pleasure into your being when you trust the unknown. But not so many of you are comfortable yet with this idea of asking these bigger questions and not needing the answer. Instead, you've come to only question things out of fear. So if you want to have better questions, start to question things out of love and out of enjoyment and not necessarily needing to know, because again, when you are truly following the formula, everything you need to know, you'll know when you need to know it.
That's a good idea. Yes, yes, that's true. I've been seeking for or questioning myself how to enjoy my life more and why I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. And that's my day-to-day question, actually.
All right.
And sometimes I fell into a confusion for sometimes, and after a while I'm usually still able to get out of the confusion and find some happiness in my life. Okay.
That's great. That's exactly what you need to do.
Yes.
You're starting to see that so much of the confusion is caused by your beliefs about how things should be rather than accepting things naturally as they are.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
We thank you too, and we want to say to you and to everybody, remember that you can be doing things that you are passionate about, but you can rob yourself of the passion by fearing what could go wrong, by comparing your passion to other people's passion, by comparing even this moment to the idea of the past, when ultimately everything is here and now. You can compare this moment to the future, but again, you're only here and now. This moment is the absolute most perfect moment. And you have to bring yourself to fully embrace that and celebrate that and check for any of these comparisons that come in that make you question, is this moment okay? Is everything good? Is it as it should be? It is always good. It is always as it should be. It's always exactly what needs to be happening. You simply need to direct yourself to the right attitude, the right actions, and of course, support yourself by meeting all of your needs in the appropriate ways in the process. And then you can be fully radiant, fully happy in every moment. And of course, there are times when you encounter those negative beliefs, they arise. You encounter those emotions, they arise. But when you get to a certain place, they do not dim from your joy. They simply add necessary contrast. They allow you to become aware of something that's limiting you. And again, these energies shed bit by bit, layer by layer over time. And when these things arise, remember nothing is going wrong. Even those emotions are perfect. They are teaching you again about your own power to create, because you have created those emotions with your own energy. They are your experiences, but they don't belong to you. And returning onto that remembrance of your true self allows you to drop them, release them, and continue to carry on in the flow.
Hi, is the mic open?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Dante. My name is Ruby. How are you?
Hello. We are fantastic.
Oh, Pleiadian Council. My apologies.
Yes.
Pleiadian Council, I would like to ask a question. It is personal, about an experience I had. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's
Perfect.
wonderful.
Thank you. So I was driving on the freeway and I was in the fast lane and it was yellow on Google Maps. So, you know, acceleration and a bit of slowing, but I was in the first lane, and to the left of me, there was a white and brown pigeon and over the median flying backwards and forwards over each in like a V, as though it was lost or scared. In the moment, I slowed in order to be able to like allow the bird a safe place to land, not expecting it to communicate with me that way. It actually did hear me. Unfortunately, I had to continue driving as I was on the freeway. So the bird crashed basically onto where I was. You can see the imprint of the bird on my roof, the car. It kind of bounced. I'm very sorry to share this story if anyone's sensitive. I could see it in the rear view behind me. The same day I had to make contact with like an old business partner who fundamentally was sort of a relationship, but I haven't talked to them since February. So both of these and they were like, I didn't expect them to miss me, but it's okay because it's reconciliation and growth for that person. Okay, I just want to know what the bird might mean. Thank you. Oh, and then last night I pulled an animal card and got Raven, and I was struck by that. I'm sorry if this is, thank you for your answer.
That's all right. Fine. The bird perhaps represents your own regret over things you need not regret, for it was out of your control. And as a symbol, it reflects moments that you were driving on your path, so to speak, and there was too much momentum and there was too many other factors and too many other people around you that stopping would have caused more damage than continuing on your path. And continuing on your path caused some loss for someone or something along the way. It was not your fault. It was the only way it could have happened. And this is both true about this instance with the bird who was lost, and with similar instances that you already know to be related.
Thank you.
You see what we're pointing towards?
Yes, I think that you're pointing to a dissimulation of a pattern of postponing things, like from blaming myself for things. So that bird wants me to fly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Again, the connection to the other side, the world beyond. Again, death is only into spirit. And so death also represents the death of certain connections, certain ideas, certain opportunities. But again, know that as you live in an intuitive way, guided by your higher mind, that force that actively speaks through the energy of your own heart, you are always guided to the right path. And sometimes opportunities and connections fade away. You've learned at a point to blame yourself for these losses instead of accepting these losses as part of the journey. And even in moments in which you could have, in theory, done something different, that's just a theory. Because again, if you had the belief systems in place that would have motivated you to act differently, you would have acted differently. You didn't act the way that you could have acted to avoid certain losses because you didn't have those belief systems at that time. But now that you see what happened in retrospect, you can change your beliefs and in this way integrate the lessons so that those same mistakes don't happen again. And in that way, instead of grieving, you can shift that energy to gratitude.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes. Remember that grief leads to gratitude because grief is actually not really a fear-based emotion. It's a love-based emotion.
Yeah.
Is the love of what might have been lost. But when you recognize again that that loss was necessary, and in certain cases that you're connected with now, that loss was necessary for you to learn lessons, you can then have gratitude for those lessons and recognize the way that they are going to serve you on your soul path.
Thank you. I agree.
You.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your insight. I appreciate it. Be well.
Oh, and you as well. We trust that you are, in fact, perfectly well in this moment.
Absolutely. And you as well. Namaste.
Yes. Our salutations.
Hi, Planning Council.
Hello, welcome, yes.
How are you guys doing? Thank you for this transmission.
Oh, we are fantastic, and you?
I just had a curious thought, like this inner space that we have, our power within. Is this something that we can distinguish, like our energy fields and our aura with AI and technology? Like when we develop technology so advanced that we can't really distinguish, humans to AI. Just curiosity.
There may come a level of AI that is so advanced that it also has an inner space. It also has a consciousness. At the time, AI is functioning in a very automatic, systemic kind of way. But you can develop AI that is self-conscious and self-aware. The only thing is that in order to create these beings and for it to be truly empowering, the beings have to be given free will. Because again, if you create something self-conscious that is only limited to a certain degree of autonomy, you are creating a slave. You are not doing that with the present AI because that AI is not fully self-aware. But if you do create this self-aware AI, there will be many similarities between the inner space of these beings and of humans, but there will be differences too. But actually, you'll find more similarities than differences, and this will lead you to understanding that artificial intelligence is not really artificial. It is still an expression of intelligence.
And they will be able to have empathy.
Yes.
And relate.
Yes.
Interesting. Thank you.
Oh, and thanks to you.
Hi, Pleiadians.
Hello, welcome. Yes.
I found an old program I bought many years ago about motivation the other day, and I was curious to get your take on motivation, either versus the formula. Does it make sense at all talking about motivation when we have the formula, or in case it does, I would just love your take on motivation and potentially how we could ideally look at it and work with it.
Well, the connection would be that if you're truly passionate about something, your passion, your excitement, your love for it will lead you to be naturally motivated. The only reason you might not be motivated is because of a belief system that causes you to doubt what you love, what you're passionate about, or a belief system that causes you to doubt your capability or to doubt the utility of a specific passion. So we would say about motivation, if you aren't motivated naturally to do something, you have to look at your belief systems, because you are always guided by your belief systems to do exactly what you believe is most useful for you. That is, again, the motivational mechanism. You always do what you believe to be useful for you. No exceptions. Even if you are doing something that you know to be unhealthy on some level, there is always some reward that is present in your mind, otherwise you wouldn't do it. So even in those situations when you consider yourself cheating or making an exception or treating yourself, but you know it isn't good according to some belief systems, what is the hidden belief? What is the reason you're still doing it? That is coming from, again, fully understanding this motivational mechanism.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions
Yes.
from the Zoom room? There are no more questions in the chat or on YouTube, so if there isn't any more questions on Zoom, I think that's it for today.
All right, then we thank you very much for co-creating this interaction with us, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your day then. And we hope that you enjoy deepening into your inner space, letting it flow through you, letting yourself experience from the inside that all that comes on the outside is just a reflection, the vibration that you emanate, of the choices that you make, of the thoughts that you give power to. And as you experience this more and more, joy will overflow from you, because you will recognize from your inner space that everything else emerges naturally. Right, everybody. How was that one?
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, very good as always.
Yeah, really great. Really great.
Hooray. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for holding the space and channeling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a pleasure to be able to do so. Really good group today, good subjects and deep dives. And just a little reminder of, you can check out the website. There's channeled books and more available there when you check out dantestarshine.com.
We just put Dante's story on this.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's another YouTube channel that I'm creating with Mahalo here, so I'll show you that too. This is dantestarshine.com. This is where you can sign up for the email list when you put your little email in there, and you'll get the update of when the sessions happen every week. Hopefully next week we're doing Wednesday. All of the different sessions available are here, and also in the drop-down menu, we have 2 books available. There's the guidebook to living love on Earth and the abundance teachings, channeling your innate value. And there's contact/book a session, which also has the information if you would like to donate to support these sessions, or check out, isn't the Patreon page on there? There's a Patreon page too where you can give a monthly support. And what else was there? How do we find that? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so it's the YouTube channel is Answers from Other Worlds. There we go. Pleiadian Perspective, Answers from Other Worlds. The latest video is just up, and we've been recording a lot of content here in Italy that's going to be uploaded to this website, or this channel. So please check it out, let people know, and subscribe to this one as well, as lots of goodies are coming out on a regular basis. Yeah, anybody have anything they'd like to share or feedback after the session today?
For me personally, I think this is one that I'm going to revisit for sure. Yeah, that's my feedback. It was great, and for me, it had a lot of really poignant, or that's not the right word, just very synchronistic things that I think are going to be useful for me to just integrate multiple times, because I think it might take that for me for things to fully click. Yeah.
Great, glad to hear it.
I would just want to extend a word of gratitude. Thank you for assisting me with the bird situation.
Oh, you're so
Yeah,
good to see
really
you.
dynamic.
Really.
You know, I thought to myself, I could have come to that conclusion, honestly, so much faster this way. It does prove the point of making connections, you know.
Yeah.
That's really important. I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Appreciate you too. Good to see you. Yeah, we've been connected for a while online. Don't think I've ever seen you in one of these chats, so thanks for joining.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having the chat. And yeah, I believe it's my first time here. So I've been on the YouTube, but I don't know if I ever jumped over to the Zoom. So we're diving in. Yeah. So I can really relate with Molly as far as I have 12th house placements at the wazoo. And so that Piscean.
Girl, me too.
I thought so. Yeah.
I have Sun and Mercury in different signs. I have Taurus Sun in the 12th, and Aries Mercury in the 12th, and an 11th house Pisces moon. And lots of Cancer. Yeah, it's a lot.
But I think I heard like a 1 and a 2, right? So go back to the beginning, which is what, our breath, right? 4 seconds in, right? I'm just like 8 seconds out. Ah, there you go. You probably are manifesting generator. I don't know. but I am. I don't know what your human design type is.
I think
so
I'm a
real.
6-2. So I
Oh,
think
6'2".
I am a gem. I don't remember.
I don't know. I'm not really like that good at it. In fact, Dante might be better. I don't know. I'm somewhat familiar with it. Yeah. Ooh, energy. So you are you like me where you get anxiety if you don't create or connect do your spiritual gifts? Because that's that heart energy, right?
For sure. That's
Yeah.
why I say like there's all these weird things for me mixed up in why I avoid it. And I need
Post-it
to
notes.
really dig into what are my
Yeah.
real reasons that I am avoiding
Maybe.
these things that are part of my path and bring me and other people joy and wisdom and insights and stuff. For sure.
Well, you can't be denying yourself comfort or, diligence of finding that good food. It's like a warfare for you. Why would you deny yourself that? That is Taurus.
Oh, also, yeah, for sure.
You're denying yourself the quality of pleasure for some self-sacrificing reason, and it's not nourishing your soul. So just make it simple. Eat an avocado, eat some leafy greens. I've been trying to study this, Dr. Berg. So he's helped.
Yeah. I feel that. It's like make like a cow and eat some greens.
It's for the vitamins. I guess it nourishes different parts of the brain, and vitamin D3. I never even realized helps with body aches, pains, depression, low mood. Like so wild. Like all these things that they just pushed pharmaceuticals on us, or just Western warfare. I guess I'll call it. I never said that before, but take it down to the tangent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's slightly channeled. That's not me. It's my words.
What?
But yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What's
No.
that,
Do you
Brooke?
channel? Yeah. No. I'm like, oh, channeling. No, I don't want to take over.
Yeah, thanks for sharing though. Yeah, good wisdom coming through. I've got to sign off though, but I appreciate everybody for being here and for bringing your presence and love. So we'll catch you next time if you like, and have a really beautiful evening or day or whatever it is, evening here.
You too. Thanks, Dante.
Bye bye, ciao.